It's time for Windows Weekly. Paul Thurrott is still in France, but we brought in a Brit to replace him. Dr. Pizza joins us, along with Mary Jo Foley, to talk about, yes, we're counting down the hours, the end of the free Windows 10 upgrade, and just a few days away from Windows 10 Anniversary Edition. What can we expect? We'll find out next on Windows Weekly.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust. This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Windows Weekly is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley, episode 476, recorded Wednesday, July 27th, 2016. Citizen Pizza, brought to you by CARBONITE. Keep your business safe this year. Protect files on your computer or your server with automatic cloud backup from CARBONITE. Try it free without a credit card at CARBONITE.com today. Use the offer code WINDOWS and you'll get 2 free bonus months when you decide to buy. And by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post to 100-plus job sites, including social networks, all with a single click. Screen, rate, and hire the right candidates fast. Try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/Windows. And by Igloo Software. Igloo is an intranet you'll actually like. It connects people with the information they need to do their best work. Try it free at igloosoftware.com/twit or sign up for a live demo to see it in action. It's time for Windows Weekly, the show where we cover the latest news from Microsoft. Now, Paul Thurrott is still enjoying a fine bowl of Beaujolais and baguette and perhaps a little foie gras in the south of France. Is he in Paris? No, he's in Paris, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in Paris.
Yeah. It's Mike Elkin that's in the south of France, and I hate them both. I hate them both. Mary Jo Foley is here. She's stuck in steamy New York, where it is reaching, well, it's not the temperature. It's the 100% humidity that'll kill you.
It is.
No AC?
Well, not during the show, because it's too loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've been making you suffer for 40 minutes, 45 minutes in the heat without AC. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Mary Jo Foley at allaboutmicrosoft.com. And tell us who you have brought to replace Paul today.
Yeah, it's tough to fill Paul's shoes, but we have another fellow New Yorker here today, Peter Bright from Ars Technica,
it's
also known as
Subway
Dr.
series.
Pizza.
Dr.
Yes.
Pizza.
Yes. Hey, hi.
And we said, unfortunately, now, as I realize it, we called it the Subway Series, which was traditionally the Mets and the Yankees. And Peter said, "Well, I don't follow American sports." And I asked him foolishly what he followed. And we have now spent a considerable amount of time learning the ins and outs of Dota 2. What does that stand for?
Defense of the Ancients.
Defense of the Ancients 2, a game I had never heard of, but which is about to have its world championship. Peter is going to Seattle to spectate with thousands of others. The prize fund is over $18 million.
Yeah. That's crazy.
OMG. Isn't it? This is one of the things that I think is really interesting about technology and the internet today, that there are subcultures one has never heard of that are incredibly vibrant and alive, and $18 million prize fund. Holy cow.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway.
It's the top game on Steam, and if you don't play it, you've probably never heard of it.
I thought it was like, I mean, I've heard of League of Legends. I thought that was the big esports game, but apparently, wow, this is the one.
No, the only reason I even know anything about it is Dr. Pizza tweets about it a lot. They're just these inane tweets that I'm like, he must be playing Dota right now.
Oh, I follow you, but I don't follow the Twitter as assiduously as I should, so I'll have to keep an eye peeled for those. So here we are. 2 days from now, Friday, is July 29th. That means we really are down to the wire on our upgrade to Windows 10. Yesterday at our staff meeting, our all-hands meeting, the question of the day was, should we upgrade? I was surprised how many people had not upgraded. And my answer was absolutely. If you don't like it, you can downgrade, but you'll at least retain the rights to do that. And just
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
That you made there, because that's a subtlety that is often missed. Once you've done the upgrade, you got it for good, even if you downgrade again.
Once you've done the upgrade and it authenticates, and that's kind of important.
Yeah. You know, you're eligible in the future if you want to try again in the future. So there's really no harm in upgrading.
I would do it. And the other thing I'm telling people, and I'm telling them this on the radio show too, is this now, and people really yell at me when I say this. This is the last version of Windows. Once you're on Windows 10, you're kind of done. Microsoft's just going to keep updating it forever? No.
That's what they say. I mean, maybe they'll go back on that, but right
there's
now,
nothing to prevent them from changing their mind. But as of right now, this is it, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't think it's like impossible if something really scandalous happens with Windows 10, or they have some major, like, completely new operating system they want to push out, then yeah, we'll get Windows 11 or something. But they seem to be sticking with Windows 10, and this is it.
Well, and maybe, you know, that will happen if they wanted, you know, like the augmented reality version of Windows.
Yeah,
If
I was
there's
thinking
some
that too.
huge paradigm shift that
Yeah,
makes
if it's
current
something
Windows just
huge like
irrelevant.
that, I could see them saying, okay, now it's time for Windows 11 or whatever, Windows something.
It
But
won't even be Windows at that point, right?
It won't
be,
really.
You know,
I wouldn't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for now, this is it. Windows 10.
Amazing. So I think well worth upgrading. Why not? You may even like it. Everybody,
Right.
you know, we talk a lot about, because we're always talking about, you know, how annoying Microsoft has been about this. But what we probably should say more often is it's a good upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, just because Microsoft's, it's too bad that they're forcing it down people's throats, because that gives people the impression that, oh, it's a terrible thing. It's
It must be bad. Yeah, I know. People do say that. I actually, though, I had not, unlike Peter and you, Leo, I had not been running the insider builds all along,
Right.
because I'm not somebody who typically updates like that. Right. So I actually last week installed the anniversary update for the first time.
Wait a minute. I thought it does that. It comes out August 2nd, right?
It does, but Microsoft had a few of us, including me and Peter, to a special workshop that they had where they said, okay, if you want what is effectively RTM, here it is. It's build 14393, which is what the insiders got last week. And if you want to put it on one of your machines, go ahead. And that's what you should consider RTM, basically.
So that's what I'm using also, is 14. Actually, 14393.5 to be exact.
Right.
Yeah, it's very important you make that distinction. So, but you are too, right? Because there were some updates after that.
Yeah, I didn't get the updates, actually.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Are you on 3.5, Peter?
Apparently, you have to enable the insider previews to get the updates.
Okay.
You do. Yeah.
That's interesting. But August 2nd.
August 2nd, everyone.
And we still think that's the day, right? Donna Sakar was a little hesitant to commit, but that's the day.
Yeah, that's the day
that's the
that it
official
starts
day now.
rolling.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
What do we say about that?
Yeah. So I was curious how I would feel about it. I have been running the November update, 1511, on my Acer up till now. So then when I installed the new update, I noticed a few things that were different, and I read about them and written about them, but I hadn't actually run them. So I got to try Windows Ink. Actually, I installed that on a Surface Pro 4 and tried that.
Because it's meaningless without a pen, obviously.
It is, right. There's a lot of enhancements with Cortana, including now you can use Cortana above the lock screen. That's new. It's also, Hello is integrated into more apps and websites now, and it also works much better. I remember when I tried Hello on the Surface Book last fall, I actually ended up turning it off because I couldn't get it to work half the time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And now it works almost every time for me on the Surface Pro 4. So there are all these things that we've been hearing about coming out in dribs and drabs as part of the insider previews, and now here they are all packaged up into the operating system. And after using it for a few days, I said, anybody who's still on Windows 7 or 8 and you even are remotely thinking about going to 10, you should, because this makes the operating system run better. It definitely does.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good incremental update. I don't think it's a huge update, but it has a lot of little niceties that people will appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
The part I was the most surprised about, I think, though, was some of the things that made apps that were installed on it work better, like Windows Mail, the built-in Windows Mail client in it now. It was pretty terrible up till now. I tried to make it my mail client, but it's pretty bad. But with the anniversary update, runs way, way better.
Mm-hmm. And what feature do you go crazy with now?
So the one I don't go crazy for is ink.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
that's
a pen person.
specialized. That's got to be for somebody.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they do a lot of things to try to make everybody think about using ink. They have a new capability where if you have a pen and you click once, it pulls up this Windows Ink Center.
Yeah.
Has sticky notes, Sketchpad, all that stuff is right at your fingertips. It recommends other inking apps for you. But I finally weaned myself off using pen and paper about a year ago for taking notes, and now I never, ever use a pen. And so it's so not something in my repertoire anymore, so that I just don't want any part of ink. I know there are people who have jobs and artists and students who say, oh man, I can't wait to have a pen. I can't wait to use the pen with Windows 10. I just could not make myself care. I just felt like it was an annoyance.
The sort of OneNote devotees,
yeah.
If you use OneNote in that particular way with the pen, then ink is great, and having the better ink capabilities is really smart. Intellectually, it all looks really good, what they've done with ink. It's really funny. Like, Microsoft has been pushing pen so heavily for decades now, but it was always this kind of weird sort of mouse equivalent. And this is kind of the first time in all of these years that they've actually tried to make pen a little more visible, think about actually the things you can do with a pen, and just having that little selection of pen apps in the corner of your screen. The new sticky note tool, the screenshot tool, and things like that. They all make a ton of sense, and if you are of that mindset, I think they're all great. But I'm not, and I like Mary. Well, I mean, I gave up paper and pen and paper years ago. And
my handwriting's so bad because of computing.
Right.
The last thing I want to do is go back to it.
I know.
It feels really strange going back to that.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, and I think everybody does it. So everybody will do this who has a pen. They will, get the new update. They'll go, oh, neat. They'll do it. They'll write something. It's giant because you can't. You're not going to write in your normal handwriting, or maybe you do, but I think it's not.
I wrote so messy. When I tried to write on the sticky notes, I'm like, I can't write on them.
Yeah.
It's just like
I don't need to write. I have things called keyboard.
But I've seen people who use the pen habitually and who really like it.
Yeah.
And they can write on the screen, and they do have handwriting
so
that is
it's a certain group.
awful.
You know why I think Microsoft does it is because it tends to be a lot of salespeople. It's a business. It's used. So the first time I kind of got this was years ago when I was shown a tablet in an airplane by a sales guy, and he said, "Well, see, it's so great because I'm doing my presentation, so I flip the tablet around. This is with one of the early HP convertibles. I got my pen, and then I'm giving the presentation, and I can annotate it, I can point to it, and then I got it. That for that specific use, this is great.
And even
filling
weird
out
things.
forms.
I guess.
Like Windows 10 had the ink annotations in Edge, for example,
right?
Which is a really weird feature. And you look at it and you think, why did you spend time on that? Rather than having extensions from day one, for example, that would have been much more useful.
Yeah, that would be.
If you are in that whole kind of pen mode where annotating things and like I'm showing you something, so I'll draw a circle around it, in that sort of like salesman sort of mode.
Yeah.
Or student. I mean, I guess some students.
Right. Students, same kind of thing. It's like if you are using that style of computing, then all of these features are so logical and really, really quite valuable, I think. But if you are not using it like that, if you don't care about pen, it's like, well, you're wasting your time developing that.
I'm guessing it's why Microsoft bought the NFL last year, because they could show a lot of coaches annotating on a surface.
Diagrams and circles and arrows and all that kind of thing. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Anyway, that's there. Cortana, I also, I mean, everybody's doing these voice interfaces. Even on the phone, I don't use it as much as I would like to.
I don't either.
I just don't think of it.
Me neither. I never think of it.
Yeah, and definitely not on the desktop, even though it's sitting looking at me.
So, like speaking to it, I don't speak to it, but it's smaller things like giving me the notifications that I got an appointment, because I work from home. So if I have an appointment, it's always somewhere else, and she will warn me. Not like, it's not like in Outlook where you say, "Well, tell me 15 minutes or 5 minutes before." She will tell me I need to go to the appointment when I need to leave the apartment.
So she knows how you've personified her. She says, "Oh, Peter, it's time to go to your appointment."
Yeah, pretty much. She says,
"Really?
With traffic as it is, or
she actually speaks up and says that.
Well, she doesn't speak. I don't make her speak. She pops up a little window, saying, to get to your 11 o'clock, you need to leave within the next 5 minutes.
I mean, that's barely Cortana. My Outlook will do that. That's
no. Outlook will not do that.
What?
Outlook does not do that.
Oh.
Outlook doesn't know how long it takes to get places, for example.
Oh, I guess you're right, yeah.
Right. You have to set a thing for home.
Because Cortana knows where I am.
Yep.
And she knows what's on my calendar. And she knows that I use the subway rather than the car.
She learned over time.
She can take those things together and tell me when I need to leave. Yeah. And so it's just scratching at the surface of, that takes like data from different places and puts it together in a way that is super useful.
Yeah.
But I don't use a whole lot beyond that.
Yeah.
I
was trying to make myself use Cortana above the lock screen. So one thing is, if you have hello enabled, that's almost impossible, right? Because as soon as you put your face in front, you're not above the lock screen. But on the other machine where I don't have hello, I put it on, and I was thinking, okay, if you're cooking maybe and you want to say, how many tablespoons are in such and such, maybe you'd use that with voice so that you wouldn't dirty your computer with floury hands or whatever. But just, I guess anyone who thinks about using Amazon Echo could probably think of more applications where you would want to use Cortana above the lock screen. But I don't think that way because I don't use it.
Isn't it funny? Because I do use my Echo all the time.
Yeah.
I guess it's just you've got to get these patterns. So, but the things we use the Echo for are kind of trivial. Like it's in the kitchen, so I use it for a kitchen timer every day.
Right.
Every day. It's just, I mean, that's a silly thing, replacing the egg, But and then I have it
well spent, isn't it?
Well, then I have it read to me. So it's I guess you get these pathways, and isn't that how we learn? You have to get a neural pathway, and for some reason, especially on desktops, maybe the Echo is different because it kind of disappears into the woodwork, so it's just like you're talking to the room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, with Echo, you don't have all these pre-existing ideas of, well, if I want to use my computer, I sit down in front of it, put my hands on the keyboard or on the mouse, and that's how I do computering.
So it's a new thing, and so we had no preconceived.
Right, exactly. There aren't these preconceived ideas, so I think it's sort of easier to adjust to Echo. But yeah, I think Cortana should be able to basically do the same kind of things as the Echo. There are differences in the details, but that's
there aren't as many plugins, right? Like now with Echo, there are all those plugins that you can have, or what do they call them? I forget.
Skills, and there are hundreds of them.
Right.
And I think Amazon was taken off guard by the success of the Echo. They've sold more than 1 million, and by the number of skills, because the original setup was so bad. You had to go into the app and find the skill, which got pretty ungainly pretty quickly, and then you had to remember the skill's syntax and use it. Now you don't have to go into the app. You can actually enable a skill via voice, you still have to remember the syntax. They still got work to do. But so that's why I tend to use the same things over and over. But if you find a skill, like I like there's a Jeopardy skill. So I can say, Echo, let's play Jeopardy. And it will start playing Jeopardy with me and give me 6 questions. So there's things that I've learned that I use,
Yeah, I mean, so like Cortana has got like APIs where people can make their apps Cortana controllable.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of thing.
So you could install an app that would use Cortana then, right?
Right, you can. I'm not quite sure how flexible it is, but there are definitely APIs that they're. I think I'm pretty sure they talked about them at Build earlier this year.
Yeah, they did.
To do that. So yeah, you could have, I don't want to say the magic phrase to make her work because I think other computers are eavesdropping, but you can say the magic phrase.
We need a name for all of these assistants so that we don't trigger.
Right.
I know.
So can we? Yeah. What should we call Cortana?
Like, hey, assistant.
Hey, Coco.
Can you, play my.
We call Siri Shlomo. We have yet to find.
Hey, virtual assistant.
Yeah. Hey, VA.
Hey, VA.
Yeah.
Play my dance music playlist in Groove, for example, and you can do that, and you can, I think, then like control playback and like say, hey, VA, next track, and that kind of thing. I think I'm pretty sure you can do that kind of thing. So yeah, they can plumb it into the apps and that kind of thing. I haven't heard of anything. Again, it's a little different because for the Echo, every app has to be driven entirely by voice.
Yeah.
So you have to learn the vocabulary.
I think you nailed it because it has to be voice. It's its own sui generis thing. And so we don't have any kind of history with it. So it's more natural. We know how to do it with that. Yeah. Even with the phone, the voice is an afterthought. I think you're probably right. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it makes a big difference.
I feel like that with the pen too. When I was trying to use the sticky notes and I was kind of having trouble getting, there's this capability in where you can connect to Bing and have things automatically update. So if you type, if you handwrite into a sticky note, $MSFT, it's supposed to show you the stock price as it updates for Microsoft if you connect it with Bing. But after a few minutes, I was like, I'm just typing on the sticky note because it's so much faster, and that's just what I'm used to, right? And it works fine with that, too. So I feel like voice is like that. Like, oh, yeah, I could use my voice, but I can type way faster, and I'm already at the keyboard, so why would I talk?
Exactly. A lot of us have just learned to become very quick, fast typists.
Yeah.
And I suspect that all of this comes from, the idea that you don't have a keyboard, whether on a phone or a tablet.
And that's another thing. So where is your Echo?
It's
is it in your kitchen or living room or something, something like that?
It's in every room of the house.
Is it really?
There's one in front of me. There's one in the bedroom. There's one in the kitchen. There's one in my office. There's one in the gym. So that's only 5.
Couldn't you get like a little knapsack and carry one?
You can. They have a tap that you can carry it with you, but I don't want to do that.
Get a family pack from Amazon.
I wish I had, because now you know what? There's this Google thing, whatever its Hello thing is gonna. Google's gonna do something similar, and I imagine a mantelpiece filled with 4 or 5 things, all of which have different names.
Exactly.
I think that's another thing. So, like the Echo, you'll tend to put maybe in your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom, which is not a place where you're sitting down at a desk or even sitting down with a laptop on your lap necessarily.
I don't deny the utility of having Cortana.
So again, it's like you would speak to it.
I just find I never use it. That's all. I'm just,
Same. Yep.
Somebody's saying, why don't you, it's easier here in the chat room. It's easier just if you want to know what the temperature is, just say, hey, Coco, what's the temperature? Then to lift your fingers off the keyboard while you're doing something else. You're right. But I'm not in the habit of doing that.
I'm not either. Yep.
But I think I could get in the habit. I think they maybe need to change the presentation slightly. Because... like at the moment, you say, hey, Cortana, what's the weather? And well, nothing heard me. That's good.
Well, everybody at home
she-
is now learning their local weather, but
Exactly.
Pop up a little window and ponder a little bit, and then tell you the weather. And actually, for that kind of thing, that's not what I want. I don't want her to pop up a little window with the weather displayed.
no,
I
that's
just want her to answer me back.
because it steals focus too. So if
Right,
you're
it steals
typing,
focus, it steals
Yeah.
my attention, and the whole reason I spoke to her in the first place.
so that she would talk back.
It's
So
so
I'm
that she
much
would
more
talk
likely
back.
to ask the Echo, "What's the
Whereas,
weather?"
of course,
that
the Echo
Right.
exactly
responds.
The only thing it can do is talk
yeah,
back.
can't get in your way.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
So it can't get in the way.
So there's it's interesting with Windows Anniversary. You got pen, you got these new input methods, but then you have finally extensions with Edge. That's good. And let's face it, the most important reason you want this is Bash.
I think there is going to be. It's not. It's not going to be the majority of people who use this, but I think it's a really exciting thing to see.
Finally, somebody who shares my enthusiasm.
See, this is why we had to bring Dr. Pizza on today, just for the
it's
Bash
like-
love.
What they are doing, and the way they are doing it. It's not just. This is not
intriguing.
just Sigwin.
I have no. It's much better than Sigwin.
It is
I have
better
to
than-
say though that what the real risk is, people are going to go, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I ought to try Linux." And
Yeah, see, like right now they're sort of working in the opposite direction. It's like, hey, that's what I know and love, and it's like, if I don't have that, then I'm going to use Linux
Right.
or a Mac. So it's very much trying to go in the other direction, saying, hey, you could use a PC as well. Yeah, I think potentially down the line it could go the other way. I think there's a lot of stuff that has to happen between now and then before there's any real risk of that. It's even in the anniversary update. The anniversary update is RTM. The Windows subsystem for Linux is beta. You have
Oh,
to
it
add it
still is?
specially. Yeah, it still is. It's listed.
oh, we
in
thought
the
it would be
features
part of
list.
the. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
it's beta, but on final?
It is in RTM,
Yeah.
but you have to add it explicitly through the add features dialog, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
listed as Windows.
Oh, that's
pretty sure
interesting. I wonder why they didn't
it's
just put
Windows
it in the store.
It's more invasive
You
than a
couldn't.
store app. It's got a couple of drivers. I think it needs administrator access to install that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
So it's not viable for a store app. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still flagged as. It's. So
Still beta.
even in the anniversary update, it's called Windows Subsystem for Linux (Beta), and you have to put your PC into developer mode.
Oh, you do. Oh,
I think.
well,
I
presumably, if you're using the Bash shell, you are a developer, or at
right,
least
exactly.
a budding developer. Yeah.
But
Right.
for how they target it, it's not a problem at
The
all
thing-
having a beta tag on it. And
The thing I think you could argue that it's this. I think it is a gateway drug to Linux. B, it undermines something really good that Microsoft's got called PowerShell. And I think it would almost be better if Microsoft had really supported PowerShell better and said, look at all the, and maybe added to PowerShell the reason you add Bash is I think for developers and the tooling that they're used to on Linux. Add that tooling to PowerShell.
so I'm gonna disagree with you there.
Okay.
Me too.
Oh, good.
so-
All right. Go ahead.
So the thing is, Bash is just a shell, but nobody wants just Bash. They want Bash, and then they want, let's say, Git or Emacs or whatever Linux program it may be. Maybe the Linux Node.js or the Linux compilers, or they want to run Apache and PHP or whatever else it may be. Yes, they will do this from Bash, and they'll use their make files from Bash, and they'll launch programs from Bash. But they don't want Bash for its own sake. They want Bash to use with all of these other tools. Now, PowerShell could replace Bash, but PowerShell isn't going to replace Git and Emacs and Apache and whatever else. That's not what PowerShell is for. So I don't think, like, they are still working on PowerShell and they're still making PowerShell better, but I don't think it's ever going to scratch the same itch as the ability to run Linux apps.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like what they're trying to do by introducing Bash is giving people just more choices, right? It's not saying, hey, we think no one really gives a care about PowerShell, so here's Bash instead. I don't feel like it's that, right?
No.
It's just more options to bring in more people to the operating system who might just say, I want nothing to do with Windows. I'm a Linux person. So I don't feel like it's going to take people away from Windows and bring them to Linux. I think it's going to bring Linux people to Windows. I think it's going to do the reverse.
All right.
Basically.
That makes sense. Well, speaking of Bash, Tim Sweeney's bashing Windows again. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Peter Bright is here. Dr. Pizza from Ars Technica.com.
All about pizza.
Allaboutpizza.com. I just love Ars Technica. I am a paying subscriber, premium subscriber. Dr. Pizza is one of the reasons, but there's so many good people there. You guys are just rocking it. You just really do a great job. So
thank you.
Nice to have you here once again. Also, Mary Jo Foley, I read her too every day, allaboutmicrosoft.com. In fact, if you follow news feeds at all, Tech Meme or Hacker News, you're going to see her byline all the time because she gets the scoops and is oft quoted, never imitated, never dupe. Anyways, that's all about Microsoft.com. I'll come up with a slogan for you later.
I liked it.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Mary Jo Foley. Speaking of duplication, there's one place where duplication's a good thing, and that's in your backup. You do want to duplicate your data. I've been thinking a lot about data lately, and one of the key principles of the whole computing experience is you have stuff that's their stuff, your operating system, your applications. You have stuff that's your stuff. You can always get another copy of their stuff. You can never get another copy of your stuff. And I've heard so many tales of woe from people who've lost things. It's so important that you back it up. And I think because you listen to the show, you understand that. And maybe you say, well, I've got backup. I've got Microsoft backup. And it's true. And I'm not knocking it. Use it. It's great. But it's great for local backup. And you should have a local backup. But you also should have another kind of backup. And that's an off-site backup. And that's CARBONITE. CARBONITE does the three things I think a really good backup system should do. It's automatic. So once you install it, you don't have to think about it. It's not every Sunday. It's all the time. It's continuous whenever you're online. And it keeps versions on Windows, which is really important because if you get bit by ransomware, and don't think you won't, don't think you're immune. So many people and companies are. CARBONITE fixes the problem because you can go back to a previous version, the unencrypted version of the file. Even if you don't catch the ransomware soon enough to keep it from backing up that encrypted file, you still can go back one and have the original. And that is huge. Why pay hundreds of dollars to hackers when you can get CARBONITE for as little as $59 a year for everything on your PC? PC or Mac, home or office. They have also got plans for servers, external drives, offices. Here's the deal. Best thing to do. Go to carbonite.com and do their trial. It's a true free trial. You don't give them a credit card. And I like that because I think sometimes, I do these trials and it's kind of auto-renews and I have to remember to cancel. No. You're not giving them a credit card. You're just trying it. Do, though, for Mary Jo and Paul's sake, as well as mine, use the offer code WINDOWS when you do the free trial. You'll get a benefit, too. You get 2 free months if you decide to buy. So CARBONITE, CARBONITE.com. Use the offer code WINDOWS when you sign up for the free trial. You won't need a credit card, and you'll get 2 months free with purchase. 500 billion files backed up and counting. That's a number. That's kind of an amazing number. 500 billion files backed up and counting. More than 1.5 million homes and small businesses use, and us use CARBONITE. Carbonite.com. Don't forget the offer code Windows. Mary Jo Foley, Paul Thurrott's got the week off. We're talking Windows with Peter Bright, filling in for Paul this week from Ars Technica. And Peter wrote an article in Ars about, he's back, Tim Sweeney. Who is Tim Sweeney, and why does he hate Microsoft?
Well, that's a good question. Tim Sweeney, long-time game developer. Epic Mega Games, it used to be called. That's what
I remember
called.
Epic Mega Games, yeah.
It's now just Epic Games, apparently. Now building game engines like the Unreal Engine is a Epic product, I think. And he's been voicing concerns about Windows 10 and the Windows Store and the Universal Windows platform for some months now. And an interview
he was
with
kind
him,
of, wasn't it what he said kind of,
kind of wrong, I would say.
Yeah, it was like, didn't we already kind of debunk his notion?
Yeah, so this new interview, so it's quite extraordinary in this day and age. So there's a magazine called Edge, and it is a print magazine, and it has no real website.
What?
As far as I can tell.
What?
So this interview is not available online, but PC World lifted some quotes from it, and
it's UWP that, according to the interview, that Sweeney is worried about because he feels they're going to phase out Win32 apps.
Yeah, so there are two prongs to what he said. First, that as Microsoft builds UWP into a more capable development sort of environment, development platform, and as more and more apps are built for UWP and games and all that kind of thing built for UWP, it will give Microsoft the opportunity to phase out Win32 and break compatibility with existing Windows games, break Steam, and Sweeney seems to think that Microsoft will do this to seize control of all Windows development, so that everything will have to be bought and sold through the Microsoft Store, and traditional Win32 apps won't work.
I remember when Apple came out with its store, I had the same concerns. I thought, oh, here we go. And the reason it's reasonable is because that's how phones work, especially iPhones, right? You have to buy it from the store. I think a Windows Phone works that way too. You might be able to sideload, but on the iOS platform, you can't sideload. You can only buy approved Apple apps. And so when Apple did it, I thought, oh, here we go. They're going to do it on the desktop for the same reasons. Well, it's secure. We can vet it. It's more reliable. We don't have this problem. But Microsoft has said again and again, that's not the intent. Apple said it too. That's not the intent. And I think users would rebel.
Oh, I think absolutely they would. I could certainly see a world where your big name applications come through the store. We're not in that world yet, but I could certainly see where your Office and your Photoshop and things like that come through the store, because.
So this is FUD.
It's fine, but there's something like a million Windows apps out there, maybe more. They're not all going to be through the store, and whilst no Windows user is ever going to want to use all of those apps, an awful lot of Windows users are going to have just one or two things that they care about
that you can't get in the
store, they can't get through the store.
And it's the same on OS 10. You can't get it.
Right.
Because of restrictions about what UWP can do.
So my understanding actually is that Apple is being a little stricter. So I think in the current OS 10 you can go into system preferences and say, let me install apps from any location.
The way it works is called Gatekeeper. You have three choices. Right. You can be absolutely restrictive. You can be completely wide open. The default choice is only download apps from signed developers.
You have a digital signature.
Which is, I think, great. And it's not perfect, because we saw malware that was signed by somebody who got a certificate in Turkey, and it was malware. But the advantage of doing that is it's easy for Apple to go, oops, and revoke it. And then it just stops working.
So for UWPs on Windows, it's pretty much the same default. in Windows 10 by default, you can get through the store and you can get any signed app. But none of this applies to regular Win32 apps. Regular Win32 apps by default are a free-for-all.
And
they could be signed, they could be unsigned, they could be viruses.
Sweeney is pointing to Steam, saying without this capability, Steam wouldn't exist. And that's the case, right? I mean, but there's no way Microsoft is killing Steam.
I mean,
that's I bet anybody who buys their own PCs is buying them to game on Steam.
Right. For gamers, Steam is a huge draw, and it will probably always be a huge draw because gamers don't just play the game that was released like this year. Gamers play old games, and that game library is an important part of PC gaming.
So why is Sweeney repeating this errant nonsense?
I don't really know, but he went a little further this time. So, he's concerned that they'll kill off Win32, which killing off Win32 and killing off every custom line of business app that's used by businesses, killing off every old game that people play, killing off all of the little sort of utilities and apps that people like. The idea is preposterous, but he went a little further this time, and he said that over the next 5 years, Microsoft will force patch Windows 10 to make Steam progressively worse and more broken. They'll never completely break it, but Microsoft will continue to break it until, in 5 years, people are so fed up that Steam is buggy that the Windows Store seems like an ideal alternative. That's exactly what they did to their previous competitors in other areas. Now they're doing it to Steam. It's only just starting to become visible. Microsoft might not be competent enough to succeed with their plan, but they're certainly trying. And I think
he must believe it. That's the only reason you would you would do this Paul Revere thing. I mean, it's not
without a doubt. He believes it.
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me understand why he believes it.
I can't either.
Steam is a Win32 app. If Microsoft starts breaking Steam, probably means that they're starting to break Win32, which means they're starting to break Office and Photoshop.
Oh, Office is Win32?
Yeah, the main Office. Like there is a UWP Office, like the mobile Office, the one that's more similar to the iOS or the Android Office. Those are store apps and they're UWPs. But the main Office, the big heavyweight Office with macros and 2 million features and all that, that's a Win32 app.
Yep.
So the Sweeney thing is very, very strange.
It is. I think it all comes down to people got really confused about what Microsoft was and wasn't going to do around the store, right? Like at one point, we even thought, at least I thought, that every app that was in the store was going to be a UWP app, but that hasn't been true. That ended up not being true. Then we all were talking about store. We were using like store apps and UWP as synonyms, but they're not synonyms at all. So I think there's been confusion about that. And that's kind of playing in here?
Right now, I think they are synonyms, but with Anniversary Update, they won't be synonyms because Centennial will be in there. Plus some apps, like Facebook, the Facebook app that's partially UWP, but is also, what do they call that, Osmeta? So
what they do?
Well, that's the thing. That shows how flexible UWP is. That is, as far as I can tell, that's a fully UWP app. It lives in the sandbox. It uses the new APIs. It's just Facebook has stuck in this big fat chunk of cross-platform code, that they use in other places. So that's I think that's still a UWP app. But with Centennial, we will start seeing like old Windows games, for example, just wrapped up and put in a bundle and stuck in the store. And
lots of line of business apps will come to the store too. That'll be Win32. That's what they'll be in there through Centennial. So I don't know. I think it's been confusing for others and us about what was going to be allowed in the store, what wasn't. But at this point, the way he's repeating these arguments and the whole thing about, and they're going to break it through patching. I think it's more just kind of people being really paranoid about what Windows 10 was and wasn't going to be. And that's kind of translated over into his mind now, and he actually is starting to believe some of the stuff that's been disproven, right? So,
the only question I have is maybe the interview was a while ago. I've never worked in print. You've worked in print.
I have.
What's the sort of lead time for an interview?
Yep.
Like this interview, it's possible that this is like several months old, and it's
That's
just
what I bet.
Oh, so he's saying the same thing he said a while ago.
That's what I thought. I bet. I was like, I bet. I don't bet this. I don't think this is all new. I think this is probably when he was on that round of tour to
I mean, the Steam angle seems to be a slightly new direction, but it's very much related.
So we
to
should
the
just
things he said
ignore it.
before.
I mean, why don't we just ignore this?
So
Who cares?
It's possible that he didn't say it recently.
He's just. I mean, it's provably wrong, right? That's the main thing. I mean, you can't predict Microsoft's future actions,
right? You know, they could do something absolutely suicidal in future and say, yeah, you know what, we're getting rid of Win32.
Yeah.
We liked the Surface RT so much, which had no third-party Win32 apps, so we're going to do that for everyone. You know,
and
bye-bye Office, bye-bye Photoshop.
He hasn't given any evidence. Like, I have in my hand the memo where, you know, Satya Nadella instructed the engineers to get rid of that subsystem.
That would be a pretty scandalous memo.
Yeah. There's no smoking gun.
No.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think we could just ignore poor Tim. I mean, remember the Excite guy who said that he'd been abducted by UFOs or something? It's like that.
God.
Right. Was his name Joe? I can't remember. Like, yeah, well, that's nice. Bye.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at
Tim Sweeney is still a big enough name with enough of a track record that people pay attention to what he says and what he's done.
Yeah.
Like if he was just some dude on a message board, or
I mean, sure, there's plenty
with a really angry blog or something, then no one would care.
But it's not like Epic is gonna. What would I mean? Maybe because he's at Epic, he's got the memo. Present some evidence, I guess, Tim, if this is your assertion.
Exactly.
What's your evidence? And did anybody come? I think they did last time. Come forward to Microsoft and say no.
Yeah, they did last time.
This is the old story coming back.
Let's hope. But it's getting a lot of press again. Here we go again, right?
Well, and I guess that's the real issue. So we're here to say that this is not likely at all. But the problem is mainstream media may be reprinting it and scaring people.
Yeah, you know, it seems similar to, and I'm sure you must have talked about this in past weeks, an excellent article at a publication I'm not even going to mention about Windows 10 subscription pricing.
Yes.
Which was a completely wrong-headed misunderstanding. But I still saw it getting traction in mainstream publications saying, "Oh gosh, Microsoft, you'd better, you know, this whole free upgrade is a trap." And that once they've got you on Windows 10, they're going to start making you pay $7 a month and that kind of thing. Right. Which, you know, you can never rule something like that out. Yes, maybe one day they will do that. It's like I'm not the CEO, unfortunately.
I know, right?
So I can't say that will never happen.
Yeah.
But there is.
That's what we said. That we've been saying that we're like, you know, we don't think this is going to happen based on what we've been told and what sources have said, but we can't promise you never because things change. Right. But still, you
know, things like that, they get play in the mainstream media, and I think people get scared off by them.
Yeah. Here's something that is happening. So, thank you to Jake and Laura who tweeted me this. This is one of those directories you see in high rises, right? Where you're trying to find the office. Sorry to interrupt. But this is important. Windows 10 free upgrade offer ends July 29th.
That's pretty in your face, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I imagine there's a few airport annunciators and various.
I saw on Twitter this morning
kiosks.
Glasgow Airport on the not even one of those kiosks, on the actual flight departures board.
Yeah.
One of the screens saying upgrade to Windows 10.
I love it though in that context. Sorry to interrupt you. I know you're trying to find your flight.
Yeah.
But it's so important.
If it's on the other screens, you're good. If it was on this screen, sorry, but this is more important. You're going to miss your plane.
And that's the problem. This is a full screen takeover. We talked about it last week when
we did.
We realized it. But I guess, as Paul has said, Mary Jo, many times, in 3 days, next week's episode, we're going to start hearing from people who say, wait a minute, it's not free anymore.
Yeah.
What?
Actually, in 2 days, 14 hours and 25 minutes.
Do you have a countdown timer?
There's a countdown clock on Microsoft's site to tell you when this ends.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. So, two things. Yes, yay, finally the annoying pop-ups are going to end. But like you just said, I know Saturday morning I'm going to hear from somebody who said, I just tried to do the free upgrade and I can't. Why didn't you guys tell me about this?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much more we could tell you, but and how much more Microsoft can tell you. But it is really going to end on Friday. From everything we're hearing, it is the true end. There's not going to be a grandfather period, not even till next week when the Windows anniversary update is out. They're not going to say, oh, well, we're going to give you those 3 days between the end of the upgrade
really
and that.
frustrating. So now is like the worst time to do the install because the
upgrade
process, once you're on Windows 10, installing the anniversary update is basically a full reinstall of Windows. Yep. If you have a PC with lots of apps and lots of hardware and lots of software, that's a bunch of hours it takes.
Might be a good idea to say
you're going to have to do it now.
Don't wait to Don't wait to day after tomorrow. In fact, as you get closer, you probably want to allow a few hours at least, right? What do you think? There'll be like this. I know how people are. There'll be this last-minute scramble on Friday night. Where people go, "Oh God, I better do my essay."
And if something goes wrong, like if it discovers, oh, actually, you've got like software that's incompatible or hardware that's incompatible, so you'll have to fix that first before it'll upgrade. It's like, oh my God, people will be thinking, oh well, I'll just do it at the last minute, and then they'll find it doesn't work at the last minute because some reason has happened.
I know. In fact, I even heard from a guy today on Twitter who said, I'm in the middle of rushing to try to do this update before Friday, and I can't get it to go all the way. It's going 99%. It's getting stuck. And I've been sitting here for 24 hours trying to see if it'll do the last 1%, and it won't. So what do you think I should do?
We've had that happen here. Burke's saying, did it happen? It's happened to you twice, Burke? Last night and yesterday. So, and didn't it happen to Kim's computer too? Did she finally get it? It worked finally. 99%.
Yeah.
Then what do? You call Microsoft?
Yeah.
No, so I looked this up.
They do have tech support, don't they? I think
they do. They do. Yeah. You could bring your PC into the store and they could try to help you. In some cases, it's people who actually don't have enough disk space, or they have incompatibilities that they didn't realize when they started the upgrade. And you're kind of stuck. I mean, literally stuck, because some people aren't able to roll back, but they can't go to 10. So they're like now in no man's land with this. So I guess the motto is you shouldn't have waited till now, but you did. Yeah. And after Friday, that's it. It's like, I really don't think they're going to grandfather people in after that. Even if you're like one of these people 99% of the way done, if you can't get it to 100, I don't know what you're going to do at that point.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised there's no tool for kind of.
I mean, they're telling people to use the what do you call that tool? The one that lets you manually update.
Oh, the
network install or whatever. I can't remember.
No.
Is it the CD creation thing?
Yeah, the CD creation
the media
tool.
Creator.
Media creation tool. Right.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking? Do you mean to download an ISO and then do it?
Yeah.
So but that means do a clean install or do it.
No, that will still do an upgrade. That should still do an upgrade.
If you had your Windows 7 serial number or Windows 8.1 serial number, you could then wipe the drive and get that ISO with the media creation tool, install Windows 10. It would say, would it not? I don't know. Would it say, what's your serial number from 7? And then you enter it and you're still good? Does that work or no?
That's a very good question, and
Right.
I have heard that yes, you can do that. I think when it's frustrating that I don't actually have the right stuff to test that. So what I heard, and this could be wrong, was that original Windows 10 RTM did not do that, but since the November update last year, you could put in a Windows 7 or Windows 8 serial number, and it would do the right thing.
Okay, so that would be the right now.
Right.
Just Google Windows 10 Media Creation Tool. It'll be at Microsoft.com. Don't get it from anywhere else. Put it on a USB key. Now you have it. Try it. If you get to 99%, wipe the drive. Get your use. If you don't have your key, you can use Bell Arc Advisor. There are other programs that will extract your key from a Windows 7 or 8 install. Use that key. Write it down, and then do a clean install. That should be okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
that's last gasp, of course.
Yeah.
Don't do that unless you have to. Although you're going to get a much cleaner install. That's why it seems. And the 99% does seem to be happening when it's downloading, right? So if you got the Media Creation Tool and did the upgrade from a disk or a USB key, that wouldn't be an issue. So that might be another reason to do that.
Yeah. But no, I think this is, Microsoft has been damned throughout this whole thing for being so in your face and aggressive with the upgrades. And I just think it's inevitable. The same thing is going to happen when the upgrade is gone. And people, the same people who are complaining, oh, what is this message? Why is it always here? I hate it. The same people will be complaining, oh, well, actually, I want to upgrade now. Why isn't it free anymore?
Yeah.
And of course, none of this applies to enterprise users. I'm sure they know this.
Right.
So I just downloaded an exe, a very small exe that is the upgrade. Don't get that.
No.
Because that's a stub, right? That just.
Oh, that's So if
you want to go down and download tool.
Yeah, download tool. That one, the second one.
Yep, and that will download a program that will then download. Windows 10, the ISO, and burn it to a USB key in the appropriate fashion. It has to be a UEFI device, all of that. And then you can boot to that if you're, and wipe the. Does it allow you in the install to wipe the drive? I think it does.
Yes.
Although don't do that unless you have to. So the first thing I try is install on top of it.
Upgrading.
Yeah.
And the upgrade, the wisdom going back so many years is never do a Windows upgrade, do a clean install. The upgrade has really surprised me. I've tried it on quite a few pretty janky machines, with weird software installed, weird drivers, and it's been amazingly robust. I know people have problems, and it's no comfort to them to hear that someone else had no problems at all. But try the upgrade. The old advice, I think, I'm comfortable saying the old advice is wrong. I think
no. In fact, our advice has been all along: install on top of, install on place, at least to get the activation. If it's wonky, then go. Now it's activated, so you'll never need a serial number again.
Yeah.
Now you can go out and get the Windows 10 Media Creator, make an ISO, and then do a clean install. But the nice thing is, you've activated on that hardware, so you're good to go.
Do the clean install
I like a clean install. I like a clean install, but in this case, yeah. The other thing.
One more tip from somebody who's listening. Ryan Spooner said he was getting stuck on that 99% thing, and he said he took out the SD card and then it worked.
Wow. So many little things that can just screw things up.
I know. So yeah,
USB has always had a little bit of an issue, and unplugging unnecessary USB devices is always a good idea.
Yep.
The other thing I want to know, and this is coming from one of our chatters, does now on August 20 or July 29th is GWX, the Get Windows 10 tool, going to uninstall?
So, what they're gonna take a couple weeks to do this, but eventually they're gonna phase out all of those GWX pop-ups somehow. It's not going to happen the same day automatically.
You might still get one, even though you...
Yes. And so what I believe is going to happen is if you get one after the 29th, like if you get Windows 10 pop-up, I think if you click on it, it's then going to take you to a page that says you should buy Windows 10. I think that's what's going to happen if you get it.
That's rude.
Yeah.
That'll be $120, please. And that's what it is, right? $120.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be $120, please. What? PC does what?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really bad, actually. I figured they'd at least have the sense to kill it dead.
Apparently they can't.
Instantly.
Sounds like they can't.
Leo.
I know, they're Microsoft. There's nothing they can't do.
I'm pretty sure that they could write, is the date July 29th or after July 29th?
Stop pestering people. You're right. That does seem like
I'm pretty sure they could do that.
Well, they have to accommodate the international date line, and
there's a lot of things. Yeah, there really are a lot of
it's not
moving
that.
parts.
You know what? I bet you could find a library if you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And then is GWX going to go away, or are they just going to leave that in there, a little time bomb?
No, I think it's going to go away.
They could use for other advertising later.
Pretty sure it's going to go totally away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you installed Steve Gibson's Never 10, that doesn't mean you can't upgrade. It just all that did is kill the advertisement.
Yep.
You can still upgrade. So don't feel like you're somehow stuck.
No, you can go back and change that.
Well, you don't even have to, because that just took the little entry out of the registry that said notify them. Yeah. You still have the capability of, and you do it with the media creation tool if you want, or run Windows Update, right? It'll still, or will it? Maybe not. Will it not be in Windows Update anymore? Maybe not.
I think that suppresses it from Windows Update.
Okay, so you don't see it, but so that means you should go get the media creation tool and put it on a USB.
And also, like, if you have more than one PC, for example, then media creation tool is the way to go.
I really want, yes, because you don't want to download it over and over. It's
right.
3.8
It's actually like, it's a good way of installing no matter what.
See, here we go. Dave Banks asking in the chat room, $120 even if you have Windows 7 or 8.1?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
It
I know.
begins.
This part, I think, is the part that people didn't get. It's like, even if you, like, they're thinking, oh, well, I already have 7 or 8, so I'm going to be somehow exempt from that. No, you're the people who are going to be charged for that, along with XP and Vista customers.
So there is essentially no upgrade pricing?
No.
All you can buy in the store is...
That is the upgrade pricing. That's great pricing. That's what it used to cost, remember?
If you're building your own PC and installing, onto a blank disk with no Windows install, you'd buy the same thing, still $120.
Yep.
There's no cheap upgrade version and then full priced retail version. It is just $120 for home, $200 for Pro.
Yep.
And that's it.
Of course, Debian is still free.
Yep.
Just saying. No.
So is Windows 10 till Friday.
Right. So this is why really I keep saying do it. Just do it. You can always go back, make a backup first to guarantee that you can go back if you think you're going to want to. I don't think you're going to want to. I think Windows 10 is great, and you're going to be there. And now, forever, or at least for a long time, you're done.
Yep.
This isn't going to happen anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Do a backup, then install it.
Do a backup, install it, and you can roll back for 30 days. You probably won't want to. And if the rollback fails, which it does sometimes, you have the backup as your fallback position.
Yep.
All right. And then if you do this, you're going to get a big update on August 2nd, right?
Right.
You are.
That's like, I do wish they had some sort of, even just like a couple of weeks of overlap, just so you could do the install once rather than
See,
twice.
Want to hear a funny story? Why I don't know if the story is true, but somebody told me this. Why these two dates don't align? So July 29th is the 1-year anniversary of when Windows 10 was launched. That's why that upgrade offer ends that day. It's Friday, right? Yeah. So the idea was, okay, we could make Windows 10 anniversary available on Friday, but it's a Friday, right? if things go wrong or the rollout starts, getting messed up.
No, you really, if you want to maximize your screw up of the work week by doing it on a Monday.
Yeah, or a Tuesday in this case.
Let's really screw up the work week.
So August 2nd is a Tuesday, and so the thinking was, you know what, we want to roll this out when everybody's at work. And this week at Microsoft, in fact, not everybody's at their desks because it's Tech Ready, which is their internal training conference. Oh. They're doing that 1 week hackathon stuff. It's like a big kind of party week at Microsoft this week. So this would be the worst possible time in a way to roll out the new update.
So doing it during the working week staggers it naturally because people will do it like when they get home rather than at the weekend.
Yep. So August 2nd,
that is the best way of doing, like, if you're working, you're a developer, you're deploying some software, you do it last thing on a Friday night and you press enter to do the deployment, and then you run out of the door of the office as fast as you can. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but you're at the pub,
you just
so
hope.
you don't care. That's DevOps. I think that's how it works.
I have FreeBSD installing at home right now. I ran out the door.
And you're like, okay, let me be ready.
Bye. Good luck. Yeah. Hope it all works out.
So August 2nd is the day when Windows 10 is supposed to start, the anniversary update is supposed to start rolling out to people who already have Windows 10 for PCs, for phones, for tablets, and also theoretically, at least the start date for it rolling out to Xbox One and HoloLens, like everything, Surface Hub, all of it. They have to stagger.
Have you heard much about that, Mary Jo? Because
I asked.
That's what they said originally when they announced August 2nd. Yes, across the board.
Yep.
But
then they said staggered, right?
Yeah. So I'm very curious to see what.
I know, me too. I'm curious, like, kind of the order of how this will work and what does staggered mean? Because originally it was like, everything on August 2nd. Then it was like, well, of course it's going to take time and it's going to be a staggered rollout. So yeah. So we'll see next week who gets it when.
I'm staggering right now.
Yes. Yeah.
You could stagger home from the pub.
Yes.
All right, let's take a break. Let's we have to absorb all of this information. God, I just know next week it's just going to be, we're going to be barraged with what?
I know. Yep.
What happened?
Mm-hmm.
What? Actually, it's going to happen to me first because I have a radio show on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you're going to be right at the front.
I'm in the front line.
Oh yeah,
that's the first person going to get all this.
That's you.
Our show today brought to you by ZipRecruiter. If you are the person who does the hiring at your company, maybe because you're the only person in your company, you're the boss, maybe because you're in the HR department, you ought to know about the best way to hire. Hiring the right person makes such a huge difference. It can transform your company. But how do you hire the right person? Where are they? How do you reach them? Let's just stipulate that there's the best possible candidate for your job, your opening, is out there somewhere, right? But do you know where? Do you know how to reach them? There's a lot of job boards out there. Well, ZipRecruiter is the best way because with one click of the mouse, you're posting to more than 100 job boards, plus Facebook, plus Twitter, so that your posting goes to everywhere. You're much more likely to reach that right person in any city, in any industry, anywhere in the country. You will start getting applicants within a few minutes of your posting at ZipRecruiter.com. And then you're going to say, well, that's nice, but am I going to get 8 million phone calls over this weekend? Or I'm busy installing Windows 10. I don't want any phone calls. Or is my inbox going to overflow just as I rebuild my computer? No, because this is the beauty part. It's all online. All the candidates for your job go into the ZipRecruiter interface directly. And it's designed so you can screen the candidates. You can even ask them questions. There's a free form. You can not test, questionnaire. There you go. Or you can use multiple choice or yes/no format. So you can, have you ever been convicted of a felony? You can have that right there and screen out the ones you don't want. View the candidate responses right next to their beautifully formatted resumes. Rate them and hire the right person fast within days. This is why ZipRecruiter is so popular. Over 800,000 businesses have used ZipRecruiter. 125 million candidate applications have been delivered. It really works. We've used it too, by the way, and we love it. We hired our editor most recently, our newest editor, via ZipRecruiter, and he's been great. Look at all the companies that use ZipRecruiter. Look at all the testimonials at the ZipRecruiter website. Here's the deal. Go to ziprecruiter.com/windows, and you can sign up to use ZipRecruiter free. What? All of that free? Yes. Free right now. ZipRecruiter.com/windows. They want you to try it because they know you're going to like it so much you'll come back and use it again and again. We do. Try it today. ZipRecruiter.com/windows. We thank them so much for their support of Windows Weekly. It's a very special Windows Weekly today because Paul Thurrott is... have you been watching his tweets? He's in Paris. Oh, my God. All these pictures on Facebook, actually, mostly, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm just so
I know, the
jealous.
The food is insane.
Oh.
Right?
Between him and Mike Elgin, I'm dying here.
Yeah, yep.
Dying. So, yeah, he's in Paris, and good for him. I think this was with your encouragement, Mary Jo. Instead of trying to do the show, he's just taking a real vacation. I notice he's still posting.
Kind of working. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't stop posting.
No, he didn't.
Probably because he can't. Probably because he doesn't,
Yeah.
He's like,
addicted.
Yeah.
He can't stop.
He can't. Especially now. I mean, this is like prime time.
Oh, man. He's so mad because he's flying home on August 2nd, which is the day the anniversary update comes out.
Of course he is. They time it.
Of course he is.
Donna Sicard told us that.
Hey, you know what else is happening August 2nd?
What?
Dr. Pizza's becoming a citizen, I hear.
Congratulations, Doctor. So our fill-in, and mighty fill-in he is indeed for Paul, Dr. Pizza, a.k.a. Peter Bright, of Ars Technica fame. So what is that? Did you take the test? Do you know all the presidents in order?
I took the test, when was it? Last week.
You know something no American native-born knows.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Washington...
Both my
Adams,
senators and
no, Washington, Washington,
I had to learn that.
Jefferson. I don't know. Lincoln was in there in the middle. Then there were some Bushes.
Yeah. We had
there was
to know who was first.
Is that all? You don't have to know all the presidents anymore in order?
No.
What do you need to know?
There's I think, I can't remember if it's 50 or 100 questions you have to know, and they're pretty random. Like, How
does a bill become a law?
Not even that detailed. Like you have to know, like, if the president can't be president, who takes over?
Oh,
vice president. If the vice president is
Cheney,
is
Dick
dead
Cheney
as well,
takes over. In fact, he'll take over for no matter what.
No matter what, yeah. You got to know like the names of your senators and your representatives.
That's fair. I bet you. You know what? I bet you most Americans can't name. Maybe they can name the senators. There's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Can they name their representative? Just the one that's your representative?
Probably not.
Nope.
I remember Lynn Woolsey, but I think she was succeeded by some guy named Jared. Or is that the Subway commercial? Now I can't remember. Anyway.
I don't think the Subway guy is going to be elected anytime soon. I think
Jared Huffman is our, I'm just joking, is our duly elected representative to the House of Representatives. But you're right, most people probably don't know that. So good. You should know that.
I have to... So you have to, you get asked the usual questions, like, are you a terrorist? Were you a Nazi? Have you, aided and abetted the communists?
Really?
I have to renounce any foreign titles of nobility.
Oh, really? You can't be Sir Peter Bright anymore?
So I can't be Sir Peter, no.
What? That's not right.
Apparently you can get around that. If you are born a dual citizen and you have a title, that's okay. But you cannot naturalize and get a title.
Do they ask you if you have a gun, and if so, how many, and where do you, stuff like that? Is that...
Not in New York City, Leo. No guns here.
Wow.
So
good for you. Congratulations. We're thrilled to have you.
Next week I'll be swearing allegiance to the flag and
nice.
Be a citizen.
Do you pledge it? Is there a special?
Well, I have to go to an actual ceremony.
It's a ceremony. You raise your right hand, don't you?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And you and There's no sort of dress code as such, but they say it has to be sort of
respectful
to the occasion. So you're not allowed
Yes.
to wear shorts, which is
You know what? A lot of people are there. This is
pretty hot right now.
I know for you this isn't probably momentous, but for many of the people there, this is hugely momentous.
Oh yeah, I know.
And maybe it is. You know what? I bet you'll be a little you'll be a little choked up when it happens.
I'm excited to do it. I think it's an important thing to do. Like,
Is it because of your wife? Does she make you do this?
no, not at all. Like, I've got expat friends who just plan to have a green card forever. And because that's also an option. Like, I could just renew my green card every 10 years and not be a citizen. But like, it seemed like, I know my vote doesn't matter a great deal, particularly not in this state. But I still want to have that sort of participation. The other thing is, to serve on a jury, you have to be a citizen. And I've never been called for jury service, but oh god, I wish I was.
It's so much fun.
Really? Man.
I know so many people try to get out of it, but I
No,
really,
no. It's fun, unless it's like a really boring like business lawsuit or something. But watching it up close is fascinating. I did it once and I really enjoyed it. Of course, it's a huge pain because
it is.
Work doesn't pay you, and you get $5 a day. And I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince. That means you, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. You have to pledge to support and defend the Constitution. By the way, nothing a natural-born citizen is ever required to do. Laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This sounds a little bit like the oath of office for president. I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law. That's not playing Dota 2.
No, sadly not.
And that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, Peter, good for you.
August 2nd, shaping up to be quite the day.
And where do you do that? At the courthouse? Where do you go do that?
I'm not quite sure. There's somewhere in Brooklyn where you go to do it.
There's somewhere in Brooklyn.
You'll probably be among like hundreds of people simultaneously doing it, right?
Do you know that oath is 220 years old?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, they didn't actually require that by, I'm reading up on this. Prior to 1906, there wasn't an exact text, but you had to say you would do that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'll be doing with my...
Good for you.
And,
Good for you. Are you a little sad about leaving the UK? I mean, abjuring your prince and potentate?
Well, that's the funny thing. Although you have to, like, say, I renounce my loyalty to foreigners or whatever. You had the exact wording, something along those lines.
Yeah, you're prince and potentate. And
that doesn't count.
In England, they still think you're responsible to the Queen.
Right. To actually give up my UK citizenship, I'd have to go into the British Embassy here.
Oh, so you'll be a dual citizen.
So I'll be a dual citizen.
Oh.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Even though the U.S. does not recognize that and probably frowns on it. Yeah.
They're kind of fine. But the issue is the UK doesn't recognize the American oath as a renunciation of citizenship because, hey, that's an American thing. Why would the UK care?
Right.
It's like I'll have two passports. I'll just have to make sure to use the right one for the right country. That's
a kind of nice.
I can pick the shortest immigration line at the airport.
Mary Jo, here's a question from the test. Name one of the two longest rivers in the United States. Well, okay, it's multiple choice. I'll give you a choice. Colorado, Mississippi, Ohio, or Rio Grande.
That's good. I was going to pick Colorado or Mississippi. So
I would say Mississippi.
The second is Missouri, I think.
Oh, correct. You got it correct. Okay.
Which one was it?
Well, I don't know what the Mississippi's one. I didn't. Yeah. I only get what? Okay, this is good. What major event happened on September 11th, 2001?
Well, I know that too well because I was here for it.
and let me. By the way, here are the choices. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
Oh, jeez.
An accident at 3 Mile Island. Hurricane Andrew struck the United States, or terrorists attacked the United States.
I'd say D.
D. Well, you live in New York. You better know that.
I was here for that, actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers: Jefferson, Adams, Washington, or Madison.
Adams.
I don't think it's Adams.
Oh, I just guessed.
When they do it.
You know why I know that?
Why?
Because I saw the play Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. Yep. See, if
Every future citizen should see Hamilton.
I know. That's
Name
true.
the war between the North and the South. You know that one.
Civil War.
Civil War. World War One. It's one of the choices.
Well, when I lived in Texas, it was rather
Yeah, we call it the War of the States.
well, the War of Northern Aggression.
Yeah, the War of Northern
enjoyed.
Aggression. That's right. I'll never forget the in Austin, in front of the Capitol building, they have, and they're starting to take these down, but they have a statue commemorating Civil War deaths, and they call it, a fight for states' rights. Well, it technically was. All right, enough of that. Anyway, congratulations. That's wonderful, Peter.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's great.
We're thrilled to have you. How hard is it to become an immigrant? I mean, do we have open borders here in the United States? I think that's what Mr. Trump said.
Not at all.
Oh, no, come on. We have open borders. You just waltzed right in, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was easy. Yeah, no criminal record checks, no background checks, no thousands of dollars.
No. It's open borders, baby.
Open borders.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to stop that.
Right.
Hardware news of the week. Who wants to do this one? Da-da-da-da.
I can do the top one. I'll let Dr. Pizza take the Xbox mantle. So there's been an ongoing problem that a number of Surface Pro 3 users have been experiencing around batteries. Those who have Simplo batteries in their devices, not everyone, but many of them, have been finding that their battery drain has been inordinate. And this is only starting to come to light now for some reason, like maybe in the past few months. I looked up the complaint of this on the Microsoft support forums, and it's pages and pages at this point. But people are going to the Microsoft store saying, hey, my battery's draining really fast. And in some cases, they're being charged by the store for a support case. Microsoft's saying that's incorrect, that they shouldn't be charging them. And now we just found out yesterday that Microsoft actually thinks they can fix this through some kind of a software update that's coming. So they're saying it's not a battery thing, but it's actually something they can fix through a software update. They aren't really elaborating at this point about what kind of an update it is or when it is coming, but they said they're taking it very seriously, they're working on it, and they think they can fix this through a software update. So if you're among the people who are being affected by this, don't think we've just been neglecting you and not reporting on this. We've just been trying to find out what to tell you, because all we could get for a couple weeks now was, we know there's an issue that some people are reporting, and that's it. Like, so it was just kind of pointless to say anything at that point until we could tell you something a little more definitive. So
and
now
it's
we know
always
they
tricky
think
with
they
these
can fix
things. Like, is it just one or two people and they've got a lemon?
Exactly.
Or is it actually a systemic problem?
It seems like
like
it was fairly systemic.
Yeah, so if you have the one battery manufacturer, you're fine, and if you have the other battery manufacturer, it just breaks. I guess it must be like some sort of firmware in the battery or something, like, because these lithium batteries are complicated things, because they make sure they don't like overcharge or undercharge or overheat and all sorts of things. So like maybe there's some bug in there or something. That's the only thing I can imagine, if they say it's going to be a software fix.
I know. And then somebody told me today that he also saw someone with the Surface Pro 4 reporting this as well. And then somebody else reporting it who didn't have a Simplo battery but had another battery, whatever the other one is. I forget.
I think LG.
LG, right. So hopefully those are just rogue reports. But if they're not, that means this is even more widespread potentially than just the group of people who have Simplo.
And also means that it may not get fixed in this update.
Right. So that's all we know at this point if you're a Surface Pro 3 user, but know that we're trying to find out whatever we can, and we'll let you know as we find out.
Yeah.
That's all anyone can ask.
That's all we can do.
Just do the best you can.
I know. I didn't want people to think we were ignoring them, but it just seemed dumb to write a story that said, yeah, Microsoft knows that people are reporting an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, give us more than that.
And August 2nd is not only auspicious for two reasons so far, but I believe that's when I'm getting my Xbox One S. I think that's what Amazon told me. Mm-hmm. And now they've announced two more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some. So the One S is that you could pre-order with just
I'm getting the 2 terabyte,
standalone
right? The
box with 2 terabytes, I think. And now they have, as they tend to do, there's like a red Gears of War one. There's a Halo one. I don't know if it's colored or.
They're just like bundles, right?
Yeah, so it's the Xbox One S and a game. Oh yeah, so the Halo one is just a regular white one, but it comes with Halo 5 Guardians and Halo Master Chief Collection. There's a Madden NFL bundle as well.
Any different SKUs in terms of the storage? Aren't they doing more storage SKUs?
Let's have a look. So yeah, Madden is 1 terabyte. Gears of War is 2 terabytes.
Okay.
Launch Edition is 2 terabyte, and Halo is 500 gig.
And so that'll be, I presume, appropriately less expensive.
Yeah, Halo is $300. Madden is $350. Gears of War is so 2 terabyte Launch Edition is $400. The red special Gears of War limited edition, which is also 2 terabyte, is $450.
Wow. So I got mine for I want to say $299, but maybe that's not right.
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at Amazon right now. $399 for 2 terabyte.
And then it does, but it didn't include the Kinect, which I actually really like. But I can put a Kinect on it.
Yes, correct. And if you have a Kinect and you have an old Xbox One, you need a little adapter to make it use a regular USB port, and you can fill out a form somewhere on the internet and get the adapter for free.
What about Cortana? Because I do now have, Cortana as part of my Xbox One. I think
have you been using that?
No, but I think we said that you still have to have the Kinect because there's no microphone. So without a Kinect, you can't use it, or no?
You can plug a headset into your controller.
Oh, the headset, of course. That. Yeah.
But yeah, Kinect is the best way of doing that, which is
I talk to my Xbox all the time. I say Xbox pause, Xbox resume.
And the thing is, things like that would be goofy as hell with a headset.
Yeah,
you
put on a headset to say watch ESPN. That's not
right. So I was actually quite surprised. Like I figured that the One S would have like a microphone array within the console unit or something like that, so that you could still speak to it, but without needing the full Kinect with its cameras and its microphones, just to let you talk to it. And no, you need a headset or you need the Kinect, which is really surprising. On the one hand, they're making the voice stuff more powerful, but also they're like making it more awkward to use. So that's strange.
So it looks like I'm going to have to send away for an adapter. So I can't, because what I want to do is take the old Xbox, give that to Michael, put that in his game room, because he's using an Xbox 360 still.
Oh.
He likes it. Don't say that. So I'll move that in there, and then I will use the One S in my office where I have my kind of media set up with all that stuff. But you're saying I can't keep the Kinect on that because it doesn't have that Kinect connector.
So yeah, there's this adapter, and I'm just looking at Amazon. Like, so the adapter, like I say, once you have the One S, you need the One S before, because you need to have the serial number to the One S and the old serial number from the original one. You can fill out their form and they'll send you the adapter. You could just buy one on Amazon, but it says it's not shipping until September 30th.
Because these bundles start, the two new ones, August 23rd, but it just says start then, right?
Yeah, so the bare One S, August 2nd. but the
I'm sad.
bundles are in sometime late August 23rd.
I feel like Microsoft really dismissed the Kinect. I'm really bummed about that. It
was about cost, right? Wasn't it? I mean,
you know what? They were chasing Sony, and they said, "Oh, the only difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One is $100, so let's not have the Kinect." But that was to me, a valuable feature. I guess I must be the only one.
No, but I agree with you. But the thing is, like, the valuable part of the Kinect is not the camera part. You know, the fancy.
No, I don't use that.
Camera. Yeah. Because so few games use that. The valuable part of the Kinect is having this microphone array, so you can shout at the damn thing and it can hear you. And, like, as much as I don't talk to Cortana on my PC, I absolutely say Xbox pause, Xbox go to Netflix, Xbox turn off.
All the time.
All the damn time. That's the preferred way, except for doing the volume. I'll use the remote for the volume, but everything else, I talk to it. And that needs Kinect. It doesn't, like,
it's very frustrating.
Yeah, the headset works, but who wants to use a headset?
I kind of regret buying this S. I don't really need the S. I don't know what I was thinking. I got swept up in the excitement. Is it faster?
No, not in any meaningful
Only thing
way.
it does is 4K streaming, and that's
really
just up-res 1080p in most cases.
But the white looks really
it's
good.
It's in a cabinet. I don't care.
The new controller, if you play games, is meant to be nice because it's got the texture on the back.
Oh well,
it's a little nicer.
It's a $400 textured controller, I guess.
Well, you know, you can maybe you can become friends with your many Amazon Echoes, and you know.
Maybe they'll reproduce, save me some money.
Put it in your knapsack, carry it around.
Software service updates. New Microsoft Authenticator apps are coming out.
Yeah, you know, the app you probably
I use it.
On your Android phone know.
Yeah.
Microsoft Account, that app. So what they're doing is my understanding is they're taking that Authenticator app that they have for Android now, they're combining it with the Authenticator app that they had for Azure, and they're creating a new kind of unified Authenticator app that will work with a variety of devices, but just be one Authenticator app at its core instead of having all these different ones that are completely different from each other.
I am unnaturally excited about this.
Are you?
This app generates random numbers, and you punch them in on your keyboard, or you click accept to say, "Let me log in."
Yep. Right.
And I don't know why, but I'm really excited for this app.
It's going to work with
the Azure Authenticator. The Azure Authenticator is so ugly and clumsy; it just looks like someone flung it together.
This is going to work with everything, right? Like it's going to work with Apple Watch.
Yes, so I think it'll put up the notification on your watch. So you can say like accept or reject on your Apple Watch.
Yep.
You know, it works with the one-time codes used for like Facebook. It works with the ones used in Google. It works with the ones used in Slack, because that's all a standard tech. It doesn't work with Twitter because Twitter is stupid, but everything else works. It will do the push notifications for your Microsoft account. So you just say accept. You don't even have to punch in the code. It's actually quite an attractive looking application for a thing that just sits there and generates random numbers. It looks good. So yeah, I'm normally excited for this damn app.
Yeah, it's going to come August 15th. And if you are like me and you already use Microsoft Account, it's just going to prompt you to replace that app, I believe. For people who have Microsoft Band and Windows Phone, what I got Microsoft to say was the Windows Phone app will ship at the same time as the iOS and Android one. So that's for people who are using Windows phones running Windows 10 mobile only. And if you're running Band, it's not on the first generation roadmap for this thing, but they're saying it will be coming later.
Yeah, and this actually ties into an anniversary update thing, I think. I think that they're trying to push, and it's part of the sort of Hello thing. You know, my recollection is they're trying to push these sort of alternate authenticators. So not just using the band to accept your Microsoft login, but like, maybe not the band necessarily, but some device like it to log into your PC using either NFC or Bluetooth proximity. So, like your little wrist bracelet thing will log you into your PC and all that kind of thing. So it's all the sort of same kind of tech, and they'll do the one-time passwords.
It's good.
So it's a really nice little app. And of course, as everyone should be using two-factor for everything, apps like this are important.
Yeah.
And this will handle like most two-factor except for Twitter.
What's up with Twitter? Why doesn't Twitter work with it?
Twitter uses some dumb SMS-based thing where they send you the passcode over SMS.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do Authenticator.
I know.
By the way, NIST, the National Institute of Standards and whatever.
Thank you, Leo. Yeah, it's just...
And tutus says they're deprecating SMS authentication.
Oh, right.
Because it's not
so maybe
really
Twitter
secure.
will have to change.
I wish they would.
You know, if I steal your phone, I get your texts, and it's like...
Ironically, my banks all do it by SMS.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you still would get it if you steal my phone if you could unlock it because the authenticator's on the phone. It's not so much that it's not stealing the phone; it's stealing the number
or cloning the SIM.
It's actually fairly easy to intercept my SMS messages. Or there's a known social hack where you call the phone company and say, "Oh yeah, my number," and get a new SIM.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
And so it's not. It's not. The NIST says no. It's not secure. It never really has been that secure.
No.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That's
Obviously. In fact,
the
there's
thing, you should still turn it on your Twitter account if you have Twitter.
you
because it's better
absolutely
than not having it.
There's a cross-site scripting attack on LastPass that lets people get your passwords, which has been fixed since, but that worked for eons. And it was the only defense against that was two-factor. So
like I wish I could use the Authenticator app with Twitter because I use it for everything else.
Yeah. Let's see. Microsoft's adding more intelligence to Office. Well, if it's not Clippy, what is it?
Yeah, what is it? So this Microsoft, so people know I don't use Word. The reason I don't use Word is it's overkill for me. And whenever Microsoft adds new features to Word, they're always like super high-end power features for power users, and I just don't care. I want basics. But now they're going to be adding a couple things that are actually a little more interesting. They're adding a tool called Researcher, which is meant mostly for students, but anybody who's writing a research paper. What it's going to do is if you're in Word, there's going to be a panel that comes up on the side. It's going to be populated with information that you might want to know if you're writing a paper. Say on the Amazon rainforest, you can have all kinds of information pop up. And if you're somebody who wants to cite from something, it creates an automatic citation for you so that you won't be plagiarizing. So we know some speechwriters who could have potentially used this in the recent history. They might have been better off if they had Researcher. There's also going to be a new tool called Editor coming to Word as well. And what this is something that's meant to go beyond spell check and grammar check. It's going to let you do things like check for redundant words, check for incorrect usage, that kind of thing. And the way you have a squiggle right now in Word when you misspell something? Yeah. This is going to give you all these other kinds of cues like, hey, I know wordy here. You can shut it off if you hate it.
Lisa pays for a third-party service called, is it Grammatica? A grammar checker.
Grammarly, is it?
Yeah, Grammarly, that's it. Grammatica is the old program that did the same thing. It's actually much better than Grammatica used to be. Grammatica used to be really annoying, but this thing actually catches a lot of, errors, and it's worth it to her. And so I think that actually for some people that's a real valuable feature. God knows my daughter can't spell and doesn't need to anymore. Right?
I know, no one spells anymore, right?
Right.
Oh, man, it makes me so angry.
We had, you don't know about this, but we had in the United States a lost generation, of which my daughter is a member, that were taught something called whole language at the time. And the part of the theory was you let them spell things any way they want. And this is like in those critical years, like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade with early readers, because it's better to write it to get them writing than to get them worried about spelling. But as a result, she just never learned to spell. It was a huge mistake, which has since been abandoned, I think, by most
I mean, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I'm so frustrated when you read like news articles and even.
I see it all the time.
And people
Donald
just
Trump
tweeted
a tweet where he spelled waste as in W-A-S-T-E, like a waste of time, W-A-I-S-T. and then, I mean, admittedly, Twitter is not prose, but, and then instead of T-H-E-Y-R-E, you know, with apostrophe, T-H-E-R-E, the most annoying grammatical error. I don't know why it bothers me, but.
No, I agree. I just.
Yeah.
And particularly when it's someone's job to write and communicate through the written word, which it's not Trump's job, but it is many journalists' job.
There's a lot of blog posts. You can really see.
Use English.
You can really see there's no editing anymore because everything is crank it out as fast as you can. Do you guys have editors?
Barely.
Like copy editors, like people who fix.
They come in after we post, and at least they try to clean it up then. But
that's because you work for Ziff Davis and Ars Technica, which are much higher level. Right. But I guarantee you 90% of the blogs, it's post as often as you can, and nobody's going to read that after you 5 minutes later anyway, so who cares? And it does. I'm a grammar Nazi. I mean,
it makes me feel like a cranky old man, but come on, have some respect for your audience.
I'm kind of giving into my
language
my cranky old manedness. I'm just giving into it.
Well, maybe you'll like Editor then, or people should use Editor, this new tool.
This is where AI, you know, I mean, the old grammar tools were terrible, but AI could potentially make them really good, like a copy editor.
Yep, that's what this is underneath. So they use the Bing Knowledge Graph in this. So that means it's always being updated, right? If there's some new inclusive language kind of thing that's happening, or there's new information coming on the web about a topic that's more up to date than what's kind of the antiquated thing, like an encyclopedia that you're using or whatever. Some people still use them. You know, it'll always give you the more up-to-date information and the more up-to-date rules. So that's useful. And it also learns from you, they say. So if you consistently spell something some way, or your company has certain set of rules, standards, or like a style book that your company uses.
Oh, that's interesting. Because you know, we do. I don't know if CD does, but we have a style
we do
book
too.
that, you know, we're meant to do things a certain way.
We have
like,
one, and I never use it.
For instance, used to be E-mail, and now a lot of style guides are eliminating the dash.
Right.
Give me the dash or give me death, Leo.
I think the AP style guide just stopped capitalizing internet.
Yeah, AP is wrong.
I think we still capitalize it here. Yeah.
Yeah. We capitalize the I because it's a proper noun, and proper nouns in English get capital letters.
The internet is a proper noun? Come on, really?
Yeah.
No,
because it's not just any old internet.
What other internets are there? Is it Mr. Internet, sir?
And internet is a network of networks. The
Sir Internet, the Peter Bright title, adopted by the internet.
That's interesting. I always thought it was because, and the only reason I capitalize internet is because word spell checker said you should capitalize that. Because I think it's a generic noun. I don't think it's a proper noun.
We still cap it, and the way we do Wi-Fi has changed at ZDNet. Like it was one way, now it's another way. Is it capped? Is it hyphenated? Who can keep up? We're always having a different.
I hyphen capital F lower I.
I think that's what we're doing now.
It's a protected mark.
So is it because it's the one and only internet that it's a proper noun?
Yeah.
Is that how it becomes a proper noun? So if there's but if there's more than one Peter, then it should be lowercase.
No, because names are special.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it becomes a proper noun. Maybe I didn't get the education I deserved either.
You need editor. Get editor.
Copy editor. Well, I do it because I know it's done, but I never really liked it.
As they say in chat, person, place, or thing, and the internet counts as a thing.
No, a noun is a person, place, or thing.
Right.
Not a proper noun. What is a proper noun? It's a unique, a special little snowflake person, place, or thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so there is only one internet.
Yeah.
There can be only one.
You can have internets. You can have networks of networks.
A proper noun, according to...
You're right.
According to... is a name used for an individual, person, place, or organization.
Right.
See, I think the internet is...
When we talk about the internet, we mean a very specific thing.
It is indeed why we say the internet using the definite article.
Right. We don't just say internet.
Well, wait a minute. No, if you go to the bank, do you make it a capital B? No. So the is not the reason. It's and this is why the internet's an interesting case, because it isn't.
It is.
It's amorphous, so it's not like. Of course, the Empire State Building is capitalized, but the internet seems so amorphous. I don't know. Do we say the cloud? There's only, I mean, the cloud? Is that a capital C? Isn't the cloud a synonym for the internet?
No.
Peter, if you're going to be an
No.
American citizen, you've got to understand one thing.
No.
We deserve the right to spell things any damn way we want.
True. It pains me like every time I have to write like favorite and color.
Yeah, see?
With letters missing.
By the way,
Why-
that's
like,
because...
Why guys cloud CLOD like
You
get
know
rid of
why
them.
that is? Because the patriots that founded this nation literally didn't want to spell it the way England did. That's literally why there's no U in color in the
Sheer
U.S.
bloody-mindedness.
No, it's because we are America. Take this man's citizenship away.
Yeah.
He has to now spell without the U or he'll be disbarred.
I got an email from some guy named King George III. He said, "You'll be back. Wait and see. Just remember you belong to me."
I fear this is Hamilton again.
Finally,
Yeah, I
focused
could have made this. Yeah.
inbox.
Focused inbox. Yeah.
What is that?
This is a feature I don't like. I bet Peter likes it because he seems to like everything I hate. But just an observation. Focused Inbox is basically the replacement for a feature Microsoft calls Clutter, which is meant to help people automatically sort emails so that high priority emails, you see them, and ones that are lower priority, you can put them aside. So this capability is already in Outlook on iOS and Android. Microsoft's now bringing it to more versions of Outlook. So it's going to be coming to Outlook on the Mac, Outlook on PCs. I think it's already on the web.
Clutter is already in PC.
Clutter is, right?
It really should be declutter. I don't want to be
I know. It should be.
pedantic.
It's called
Man,
Clutter.
Is, do you not like Clutter? Clutter is great. Like all this
I hate
PR
Clutter.
crap I get
Declutter.
goes
We want
straight
declutter.
into Clutter, and it's like
Oh,
great.
I see. It's like spam.
Right.
It's not spam.
I have a
Kind-
spam.
ki-
I have
it-
spam.
It's it's the stuff that's in that gray area
Actually,
where
that's a great name
you don't
for it.
really
Now I get it.
care about it, but it's not illegal.
Yeah, it's bacon is the
Yeah.
other name, but that's clutter's a much better name because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's clutter. It's just clutter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I like that
So,
actually. So there's
yeah,
a clutter box.
It's
Yeah.
now Focused Inbox. That's going to be replacing your Clutter.
Well, no.
box.
What's
So Focused Inbox is just a new way of sorting the mail,
so
except
that's a
it doesn't.
clutter-free
tab.
inbox.
Yeah,
Right.
like
so
you're going to focus on
it's
your
gonna be a
inbox.
filtered view, so you'll be able to. Your all view will show you everything, including stuff
Yeah.
that would be clutter,
Gmail's
and
been
your
doing this
focus
for
view
years.
will hide the
Yeah.
clutter.
The Gmail
Yeah.
calls it priority mail. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same kind of concept. I
Priority
think, yeah.
inbox. Yeah.
yeah. So now it's coming to more versions of Outlook. So the best part is for me, you can turn it all off on any version.
You know,
It
it's
can
so
be
funny because when Gmail, when Google did this, there was exactly the same kind of schism between people
Yeah.
who said never and people who, like me and Peter, love it. I love it.
Yep. I like sorting my own mail.
Yeah, and my wife's that way. Lisa says, no,
Yep.
I have all this. She has the most elaborate system I've ever seen.
I need to check every one of these Viagra ads individually and delete
No,
them
I don't see
one
those,
by one.
but no, those go in my spam folder. But
Yeah.
there's other mail that I've tried to use Clutter with, and suddenly important mails ended up in my Clutter. Even when I pulled them out, they went back in. So I just would rather see them all and sort them.
You know what
quickly.
I do now? I have a rule that says if the word unsubscribe appears in the email,
That's good.
put it in the subscriptions folder.
That's a
Now,
good
that's not
way.
perfect because presumably my mom could send me a note saying, you know, how do I unsubscribe from this magazine? And I'd miss it. But it's pretty good. Yeah, it works pretty well.
That's a pretty good idea for.
Yeah.
It is.
I have a
Yeah.
lot of filters like that where I'm really trying to organize my my email. My best filter really is I filter against my contact list, and if it's in the contact list, then I put it in a friends folder, And then I have a hierarchy.
Yeah.
So like there's a VIP folder, friends folder.
I'm sure you I'm sure get so much more mail than me. So for me, it's doable to sort my own.
I'm
sure
surprised you don't get an unusable amount of mail.
I get a lot, but I'm very quick at just going yes, no, yes, no.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like
really
Lisa.
fast.
Yeah, she's the same
Yeah,
way.
you know, I think creating rules is a good idea. I should create one if ever anything says Kickstarter, that goes to junk straight away.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, rules to me are the best thing ever.
Yeah, rules
I
are good.
use an IMAP service called Fastmail that has server-side rules. And then I can use any client to get the mail, and it will already be pre-sorted for me. So I really, it's taken me a while, like 20 years, but I think I finally have an email system that works.
You figured it out.
Yeah, it took me a long time. All right, let's take a break. The back of the book, you guys missed the most important pick of the week, so I'll add mine to yours.
Okay.
It's a Microsoft program. You know what I'm talking about, but we'll talk about it in just a second. I think you might be able to guess. First, though, let's talk about your company's corporate network, your intranet. How do you like it? when you like an intranet that actually works for you, that you actually like? An intranet your employees use and refer to? An intranet that helps you do all of the things that you would like to be doing, like collaboration and shared calendars and all of that? Well, can I make a recommendation? An intranet that you'll be able to try for free. In fact, continue to use for free for up to 10 people. It's called Igloo. igloosoftware.com/twit. It's an intranet you'll actually like. People are using so many cloud services, and I see this all the time to get their work done. It seems like no one service does it all, you know. Salesforce, and then you got Zendesk, then you got your Google Drive and your Dropbox, and it's harder than ever to keep track of everything. Well, now you can bring all your cloud-based apps together in a modern intranet with Igloo integrations. It doesn't replace Salesforce or Zendesk or Google Drive. It works with them so that you get to use the tools you want, but in a one unified place. And by the way, of course, it's great for mobile. It helps you share files, collaborate on documents, blog updates, coordinate calendars, manage projects. You can customize it to fit your work with Office 365, for instance, right inside. Salesforce, SharePoint, Active Directory, Google Drive, Dropbox, Zendesk. You also get, and I think this is really important, a great selection of access, authentication, and identity services. This is, of course, your internal network, and privacy and security are very important, and they do it right. You can have a private cloud, an on-prem server. You can do it over SSL. You can do it with 256-bit encryption. Lots of big companies use Igloo, large enterprises, but also lots of small companies, too. User Testing, BDO, American Family Insurance, ATP World Tour. Igloo is great. And because it's designed for the modern world and mobile, even your younger employees will say, hey, I like this. You know, they're used to, you know, social networks like Facebook. They're going to like this. igloosoftware.com/twit. You can sign up for a live demo, see it in action. And by the way, this is so cool, and I want you all to do this. You can get your own Igloo for up to 10 people free forever. Free forever. Igloo. It is a intranet you'll actually like and use. Now, here's the deal. I want you to go to our special page so we get credit. Paul and Mary Jo get credit. igloosoftware.com/TWIT. IGLOO, igloosoftware.com/twit. What a great idea. It's cool because it's in Igloo. Get it in your Eskimo. Anyway, all right. Now it's time for the back of the book, ladies and gentlemen. And who wants to start? Peter, you're going to take Paul's spot? Begin the thing with the.
I'm looking at the OneNote, and it's not quite how I would have done it.
Well, do it the way you want to do it.
I was trolling with the first pick, so.
You're trolling?
I was gonna say for my app pick of the week, I trolled Mary Jo and said Pokemon Go.
No.
But no, app pick of the week.
It's no Dota 2.
It's not. But my app pick of the week is install the damn Windows 10 if you're still. And I mean you too, Mary Jo. I know you're a Windows 7 holdout. Are you going to do it,
Mary Jo, after the show?
No.
Upgrade.
No, I'm not, because as I've said many times, I have Windows 10 on various laptops that I'm using right now, but I am still running Windows 7 on my main desktop. And the reason is this desktop's kind of on its last leg, and I'm just going to let it go its merry way. And when I get a new one, it'll be Windows 10.
Right. Okay. That's reasonable. That's the old, that's how we used to do it.
I know.
But everyone else, if you're on the fence, don't be on the fence. Just install it.
And since you don't mention it, we should mention that if you're an iPhone user, and neither of you are, that's probably why you don't mention it. Microsoft's put out a picture app, a camera app called Pix, P-I-X, that is easily better than anything Apple offers on the iPhone. And if you want to know, Megan Moroney's been tweeting her Pix images. She was in here before the show taking a picture. But everywhere you see these comparisons side by side, it's fantastic. One of the things it does that's really smart is as soon as you launch it, it starts taking pictures. It doesn't save them, but it starts it, and so it then picks what it thinks is the best. But you can pick what you think it's the best. It does HDR automatically. It really does a great job. So PIX, if you're on an iPhone, absolutely download that. So that's my pick of the week.
That's a good one.
An enterprise pick of the week. It's from Microsoft Labs. It's free. And they said, you know what? If this helps people kind of think of Microsoft as a little bit more hip, a little bit smarter, a little bit more capable, change your opinion of Microsoft, it's worth it. So no in-app purchase or anything. It's free. Mary Jo has an enterprise pick.
I do. It's sort of an enterprise pick. It's related anyway. So right now, there are a lot of different Windows 10 SKUs, or as the appropriate word to call them is, I believe, editions. There's Home, there's Pro, there's Enterprise, there's Education, there's Mobile, Enterprise Mobile. Well, as of today, we found out there's another one that we didn't know existed that's coming with the anniversary update, and it's called Windows 10 Pro Education. So now there's going to be Windows 10 Pro Education and then Windows 10 Education. And the difference is just like Pro and Enterprise. So anyone who uses Windows 10 Pro Education, you're going to have somewhat fewer features than somebody who uses Windows 10 Education. This is all super complicated. I wrote a blog post on it that made me lose my mind today when I was trying to describe this.
Wait, so Pro Education is equivalent to Pro.
Yes.
But Education is equivalent to Enterprise.
Right.
But it's not called Enterprise Education.
No, which it should be. But it is
because
not.
Otherwise you think of it as nothing, then it must be like Home.
I know. Right. So, yeah, it would be way better if they called it Windows 10 Education Enterprise, because then you'd be thinking, oh, I have the ultimate version of education. But that's not what they call it. The other thing to know is if you run Windows 10 Pro Education, Cortana is turned off and you can't turn it on right now. They say this is going to change at some point and they want to bring Cortana back. But the reason is they're trying to protect children, because this SKU is mostly meant for K through 12 from advertising and possibly sponsored content. So it's a privacy and security issue that is leading them to shut off Cortana. But I asked, when are they going to turn Cortana back on? And they said, when we figure out a way to make it appropriate for the market that this particular version is serving.
So this is tied to Anniversary Update, you say?
It is. It'll be out as part of Anniversary Update next Tuesday.
Anniversary Update has some education-style features for multi-user systems and things like that, so that makes sense.
It does. Right. So if you want to, instead of me trying to explain the super complicated set of conditions around this, I would say go to allaboutmicrosoft.com and look at this article that it took me hours and a lot of my hair pulling out to write. But I did my best. Give it a shot over there. That's my tip. Enterprise pick.
And you have a rumor.
Rumor of the week. So I want to hear Dr. Pete's.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
The rumor of the week is Microsoft is going to open source PowerShell.
Wow.
And we have kind of wondered about this for a while, because when we had Jeffrey Snover, the father of PowerShell, on Windows Weekly a while back, we kind of were trying to get him to admit PowerShell was going to be ported to Linux. He would not admit that on the show. But there is a character, I call him a character, on the web called Tom Hounsell. And he claims he is running PowerShell on both Linux and OS X. He doesn't say how he's doing it, but he then posted today on his Twitter account that he believes that there will be a version of PowerShell ported to the .NET Core, which will be called something like Core PowerShell. And that is how you'll be able to run a variant of PowerShell on Linux and on OS X. I don't know if this is true. I asked Microsoft. They wouldn't comment, unsurprisingly, because I'm sure if it is true, this is something they want to save for later this year as a big announcement. But Microsoft did announce today that they're bringing ChakraCore, which is their JavaScript engine, to Linux and OS X. So, more and more Microsoft products and services are being ported to those operating systems. So this is not as far-fetched as it might seem.
Intriguing.
It's a rumor now.
It makes
sense, right?
Pretty
it's not crazy.
Because I can't remember what all that management stuff is called, but they've got those what is it called? There's sort of things that you can use to manage, push configuration out to different systems, and I'm pretty sure they've talked about that coming to Linux.
Yeah.
Having PowerShell, so you can do PowerShell remoting and things like that to extend it seems pretty obvious in a lot of ways, because Windows administration, for good or ill, is becoming PowerShell everywhere.
Yep.
And if you're using .NET Core to run your ASP.NET on Linux and whatever, all that kind of stuff, why wouldn't you have PowerShell there as well? So I think that makes sense. It seems pretty consistent with what they've been doing so far for remote management and that kind of thing. So
I wonder if it'll be an alternative shell that you could use instead of Bash, or if it'll be a standalone program. I think it'd have to be, because you have to have .NET.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll use .NET Core. So
So it sounds like it'll be more like a standalone, almost like an app programming environment, as opposed to a shell.
See, this is I am not a fan of PowerShell, and this is precisely the issue. It looks quite nice for a scripting language, but for a standalone shell, I just find it too wordy. The commands are too long, and it's too many things to do the things I want to do. But yeah, if you in Linux, shells and scripting languages are kind of the same thing, as they are in PowerShell. So yeah, I presume it'll run PowerShell scripts and can be used interactively. But I think the focus is not interactive use, but scripting and remote admin.
I would think of it more as a Python than as a Bash.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You can use Python interactively, but you normally don't.
A Python with really good syscalls built in. And finally, we can't end a show without our seaweed pick of the week.
No, we cannot.
And
it's funny. This beer pick is from someone who listens to Windows Weekly, whose name is Dr. Blade. Not Dr. Pizza, Dr. Blade. Dr. Blade sent me a bottle of this stout. It's called Tofino Kelp Stout. It's from Tofino, British Columbia.
Made with kelp, is it?
Made with kelp.
Oh,
yes, it is.
God.
And it makes it really good. If you've ever had an oyster stout, which gives it a little bit of salt. This is the same kind of thing. The kelp gives it a little bit of salt.
Apparently
it does not taste like kale.
They also make a beer with spruce tree in it.
Yeah, I've had spruce tip beer before. It's good.
This is their thing, I guess.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And so this was like a sweet stout brewed with kelp that gives it a little bit of a salty bite. And I think it would be great if you were drinking it with oysters, because you'd kind of pick up that little bit of salt.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm actually intrigued to try it.
It was good. It was funny. He checked it in on Untapped, and I said, "Wow, that sounds interesting." And he said, "I'll send you one." Okay, great. So thanks, Dr. Blade. It was good.
Although our friend in friendly Manitoba in the chat room says the spruce tree ale is a little sappy. Peter Bright, thank you so much for being here today.
I know. Thank you.
Nobody can replace Paul, but you certainly did an able job of filling in, and good luck on Monday, on August 2nd, Tuesday, when you become one of us. That's awesome. Congratulations. You'll find Peter, his byline is a regular feature on Ars Technica. Any Windows coverage, if you want to follow it, you know you're going to be reading Peter. ArsTechnica.com. And, of course, Mary Jo Foley at allaboutmicrosoft.com. She blogs regularly for her ZDNet blog there. And it's more than a blog. She is the queen of Microsoft reporting. Thank you both for joining us. We do Windows Weekly when Skype cooperates at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 UTC. You're invited to join us live, although as I had to explain on Twitter, the live is not, it's not like a TV show where you tune in at 11 and da-da-da-da, the show begins. What you're watching is a live stream of us making a show. It'd be as if you could just tune in behind the scenes at Studio 50 and watch the stuff as it's going. You're watching the sausage being made. If you just want the sausage at a precise time with no filler and no spillage, you should probably tune in via podcast, and we make those available everywhere, not just the website, twit.tv/WW, but also on all the podcast applications on every platform. And there's a variety of Twit applications on every platform, including Windows Phone and Windows Store and Windows. Thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next week on Windows Weekly.